Welcome to the Old Time Radio Westerns. I'm your host, Andrew Rhynes, and I'm excited to bring you another episode absolutely free. This is one of over 80 episodes released monthly for your enjoyment. Now, let's get into this episode.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver. The Lone Ranger. His faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains, led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! Let's go, big fellow! Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
Four horsemen rode leisurely along the main street of the town of Rock Hill. Buck Mendon, a large, rough-looking man, was notorious as an outlaw leader in the Southwest Territory. And in spite of all efforts, the law had not managed to catch up with him. Buck spoke to the others in a casual voice as they rode.
Well, the street's kind of empty this time of the day.
Yeah.
That's the way I want it, too. We'll head to the hitch rack in front of the store just ahead. That's close enough to where we want to go.
You sure this is the best time to strike at the bank, Buck?
Yep. I've been doing some watching. This is the best time, all right. As soon as we dismount, get your bandanas pulled across your faces and your guns ready. Then we'll duck into the bank real suddenly. Here's
Hey, Buck, look at that white horse standing beside yours. Man alive, he's a beauty.
Never mind him. Get your bandanas on and your guns ready.
Right.
Now, this is it. Now, come on. We'll grab everything we can lay our hands on that bank.
Dan Reed, teenage nephew of the Lone Ranger, had camped with the masked man and his Indian companion in the hills outside of Rock Hill. Dan rode into town for a few supplies. The general store was next to the town bank, and as Dan left with his purchases and started toward his horse Victor at the hitch rack, he was suddenly startled by an outburst of gunfire.
men are running from the bank.
The boy instinctively made for cover behind the long watering trough near the hitch rack. He threw himself down as bullets whined from the guns of 4 men who ran toward the horses.
Get your horses. Separate and cover your trail.
All right, Buck, let's get going.
Get up there.
They got away! Yeah, they robbed the bank. They ran right past me.
Are you hurt, son?
No, sir. I ducked behind the watering trough.
Good thing you did. Them crooks might have plugged you. Here comes the sheriff.
Anybody get a good look at him?
Yeah, there were 4 of them. They wore bandanas and masks.
All right, hit leather, fellas. We'll get on their trail right away. All right, get up.
Dan Reed stood a moment watching as the men rode away. Then he walked toward his horse, Victor.
Easy, Victor, steady. I have to put these packages in the saddlebag. There. Golly, Victor. The crook they called Buck had his horse right beside you. Something on the ground. A rowel off a spur. Gosh, maybe it came off one of the spurs that crook was wearing. I'll take it with me. We'll go tell the Lone Ranger and Tonto what happened. Easy, boy, steady. Come on, Victor.
Dan soon arrived at camp and told the masked man and the Indian about the robbery in town. The Lone Ranger spoke with some concern.
You might have been killed, Dan.
It all happened so suddenly I didn't think of that, sir. I just ducked behind the watering trough until the crooks rode away.
You say you heard one of them use the name Buck.
Yes, sir. The man who answered to that name was big and tough-looking. They all wore bandanas across their faces.
I see.
The one called Buck seemed to be the leader. He told the others to separate and cover their trails.
Tonto, it's possible he's Buck Mendon, the outlaw we're hunting.
Not right.
You say there were 4 of them, Dan?
Yes, sir. The sheriff and a posse left to trail him.
See. Tonto, we'll ride into the hills and see if we can pick up their trail. Stay close to camp until we get back, Dan. We'll be gone about 3 hours or so.
Yes, sir.
Here, Silver.
I'm Scout.
Steady, big fella. Easy.
Easy, fella.
Come on, Silver.
After the Lone Ranger and Tonto left, Dan became restless. He mounted his horse Victor, and mindful of the Lone Ranger's order to stay close to the camp, the boy rode a short distance to the edge of the mesa upon which the camp was located.
Oh, Victor, oh, boy, steady, fellow.
Dan sat against a low rock and stared across the prairie below. Before long, his head nodded as he dozed off to sleep. A short time later, he was suddenly awakened by the sound of a voice behind him.
All right, wake up, Button. Tell us what you're doing up here alone.
Oh, golly, I fell asleep.
As the boy scrambled to his feet, something fell from his pocket. It was the 5-pointed rowel which Dan had found in town. When he bent to pick it up, Buck Mendon, who stood beside him with another man, spoke again.
What are you picking up there?
Just this. The rowel from a spur.
Hey, Buck, that looks
Shut
like...
up, Wes.
Dan, hearing the name Buck, quickly glanced down at the men's boots. He noticed one rowel was missing from a spur Buck wore. The spur on Buck's other boot had a rowel like the one Dan held.
What are you looking at, Houston?
I was just...
Looking my spurs over, eh? Where did you find that rowel?
in town.
Hey, Buck, I remember seeing that white horse standing next to yours at the hitch rack in town. This boy
Give me
must...
that rowel.
All right.
You were in town during the bank holdup, weren't you?
Well,
Don't try to lie out of it. Remember seeing you duck down behind the watering trough. I suppose you already figured out who we were.
Honest,
He
mister,
knows
I don't...
it's all right, Buck. He saw us ride from town. He knows you lost that rowel because it matches the one you're wearing.
Up, yapping, Wes. Boy didn't know, he does now.
I have to leave
Not
now.
so fast. You'll be lucky if you don't get worse than that, youngster. I suppose you were fixing to head for town and tell the sheriff you saw us.
I was going to meet some friends. They
Don't
were...
lie on your horse. You're coming with us. Come on. I'll hold this gun ready in case you try any tricks. Now get into the saddle.
Steady, Victor. Why are you taking me with you?
You know we pulled that hole up. Maybe what you don't know is I'm Buck Mendon. I'm already winter told.
What are you going to do with me?
Frankly, I ought to plug you and toss you over the edge of the mesa right now.
Wait, Buck. I know we got to keep him from going to the law about seeing us, but I sort of hate to be in on a killing of a boy.
Boy or man, what's the difference when he's dangerous to us alive?
Let's take him with us to the hideout. When we leave there, we'll see that he's tied hand and foot. Then we'll be giving him a chance. Someone might find him, and again they might not. Anyhow, we'll get away safe, and we'll not actually be killing them in cold blood.
You're too chicken-hearted, Wes. As soon as you feel that way about it, we'll take the button with us. Let's get going, huh? And remember, youngster, I got you covered. Now get moving.
Come on, Victor.
The two crooks rode some distance with Dan, covering their trail by riding in shallow streams and on rocky surfaces. Finally, they drew rein before a shack on a low bluff overlooking the Pecos River.
Victor, hold on.
All right, youngster, go on inside.
Hey, Buck, who's the boy? Why'd you bring him here?
This button knows who we are, Fred. If we let him go, he'd head for the sheriff.
What are you going to do with him when we're ready to leave?
We'll decide that when the time comes. Tie him up, Wes, and put him on the bunk back there.
Right.
You don't have to tie me up. I'm not
Shut
going
up.
to...
Go ahead, Wes, and make sure he's tied good and tight.
Later, the Lone Ranger and Tonto returned to their camp.
Easy, fella. Dan isn't here, Tonto. Must have taken a ride to pass the time. Hope he didn't go far. I told him to stay close to the camp.
Storm coming up. Dan get plenty wet. Him not come soon.
When he hears the thunder, he'll hurry back.
Storm start plenty quick. Now rain falling.
Well, maybe Dan will find shelter until the storm is over. Not going to last long.
That's right.
This heavy rain will spoil any trail Mendon and his gunmen might have left. After the storm's over, we'll search the hills for their hideout.
When the storm finally passed, the masked man and Indian waited a while longer for Dan to return. Finally, the Lone Ranger expressed concern.
Strange Dan hasn't come back, Tonto. It isn't like the boy to disobey me.
We not able to pick up Dan's trail now. Rain wash away tracks.
Yes, I know. Let's saddle the horses again and go hunt for him.
Shortly after the Lone Ranger and Tonto went to look for Dan, the sheriff and 4 deputies approached their camp on the mesa.
Yeah, the tracks we were following before we had to take shelter from the storm were heading up this way. Of course, the rain's washed them away now.
Hey, look, Sheriff. Somebody's been camping here. There's a big lean-to over yonder.
Hey, by thunder, you're right.
Oh, hold it. Look, there's fresh tracks made since the rain stopped. 2 horses left here.
Yep, we're in luck. They've given us a new trail to follow. Those 2 probably went to meet the other 2 someplace.
Sure they did.
Well, it's no use wasting time. Let's get after them. Come on, get up. Get up. Get up.
At the gunman's hideout shack, Dan Reed lay on a bunk with his hands and feet tied. Dan knew that his life was in danger. He was naturally frightened and worried, and watched for some chance to get away, or at least find a way to get word to the Lone Ranger. Finally, when the crook Wes brought a plate of food to him and started to untie his hands, Dan decided to make an effort to get away.
All right, Sonny, I brought you some grub. Untie your hands so you can eat it.
The crook untied the boy's hands. Then, as Dan sat up, Wes turned a moment to pick up the plate from the floor. At that moment, Dan reached out and snatched the crook's gun from its holster.
I've got your gun. Don't move any of it.
Hey, what?
Wes, you fool!
You dirty little sneak. Give me that gun.
No, let go.
As they struggled, the gun went off. The bullet whined just over Buck Mendon's head, where he sat playing cards at a nearby table.
Oh, I got it, Buck. Just for that, you don't eat, youngster.
Why, Jimmy, youngster, you almost put me.
He grabbed the gun, then it went off.
This'll teach you not to act so smart.
Oh.
Now tie his hands again, Wes. And this time be careful.
Buck, that boy's too dangerous to have around.
That's right, Joe, he is. But he's not going to be around any longer, so don't worry.
There, he's tied again. What are you going to do, Buck?
You'll find out in a few minutes. You and Joe carry the boy outside. Then I'll show you how I'm going to get rid of him.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue. Following Buck's orders, two of the men carried Dan Reed with his hands and feet still tied out in front of the shack.
Here. What now, Buck?
This bluff drops off sharp to the river. The water's deep down there.
What's that got to do with it?
Just this, Fred. I'm going to show that smart-acting little maverick he can't try tricks on me and get away with it. We'll toss him over the bluff into the water with his hands and feet tied.
You don't dare, my
Oh,
friend.
shut up. We'll do it all right, Button. You'll not even have to waste a bullet on you.
Hold on, Buck. No use being so tough with the boy. Let's leave him at the shack when we leave.
I'm doing this, Wes, you understand? It's going to be done the way I say.
Sure. Sure, Buck. You're running things.
All right, then, get busy. You and Joe pick him up and toss him over into the water.
Right. Grab hold, Wes.
I got him.
Let me go.
Look, the boy's horse knows something's going on.
Forget the horse. He's tied to that sapling.
Victor, help, Victor.
Imagine that. Asking a horse to help. Must expect him to grab a gun in his teeth and shoot himself.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, this is it. Heave him into the water.
No, don't.
Here he goes.
Dan's valiant horse, Victor, knew his young master was in danger. As the men threw Dan over into the water, Victor, hearing Dan's distressed cry, reared and plunged, snapping his tie line. Then he galloped straight at the men on the edge of the bluff.
Hey, that horse, look out.
Here he comes.
Holy smoke, the horse jumped right off the bluff into the water.
Yeah. The current's carrying him around the bend. You don't even see the boy. Well, he's done for. Nobody could live through that. Let's go inside.
Meantime, after Dan hit the water, he turned on his back, hoping to keep his face above water by floating. But his clothing and boots hindered his efforts.
I can't stay up. I'll drown.
Dan hadn't known that Victor had jumped into the water. Just as the current carried him around the bend, Victor reached the boy's side.
Victor. My jacket, Victor. Take hold.
The gallant white horse seemed to understand. He grabbed the front of Dan's jacket between his strong teeth, then headed toward a low bank of the river below the bluff. Soon, Victor and Dan reached the riverbank, and the horse dragged the boy from the water.
Victor, you saved me. Now the cords.
Victor nuzzled the cords on Dan's wrists. The water had tightened the knots, and in spite of Victor's efforts, he was unable to loosen them.
It's no use, Victor. Go home, fella. Get the Lone Ranger. Go home, Victor.
Buck Mendon and his men sat around a table in the hideout shack discussing what had happened.
Doggone it, Buck. I still think we could have found some other way to take care of that boy. Tossing him to certain death like that sort of got under my hide.
Oh, stop whining about that button, will you? You're going to ride with me, Wes. You not only act tough, you got to be tough, savvy?
Buck's right, Wes. You can't take chances with anybody, even if it is a boy.
When that boy doesn't show up, his folks are going to start a search. Everybody in the county will be out looking for him.
Whatever.
Well, if they find his body with his hands and feet tied, they'll know it was murder. They might pin it on us somehow. Man alive, Buck, we wouldn't take a chance. The mob would pull us to pieces.
Listen to him. Wes sure has a good imagination.
Before a mob could do that, they'd have to find us and catch us first.
Sure, and after that heavy rain, we've left no tracks of this hideout.
But they'd search along the river.
Look, for Pete's sake, stop worrying, will you? We aren't going to stay here much longer. That button might not be found for days, if ever. Let's have a game of cards and forget about the boy. As far as I'm concerned, he's done for. And good riddance.
Meantime, the Lone Ranger and Tonto had searched the hills for Dan. Then they circled back to their camp to see if the boy had returned.
Easy, Dan hasn't come back. Darkness will soon set in, Tonto, and I'm worried about the boy.
Look, Kimasabi. Others come here after we leave. We see tracks, several horses.
Yes, that's right.
Silver get warning.
Too late, Tonto. Here are the sheriff and his men.
Reach! We got you covered!
Hey, look, that masked hombre must be one of the crooks.
We're not crooks, Sheriff. We came down this way to hunt Buck Menden. I'm sure he and his men are the ones who robbed the bank this morning.
Hey, that's a hot one. Saying you and the Indian are hunting Menden.
Him speak truth.
Well, sure, we believe every word you and him say, Indian. Huh, boys?
Yeah, maybe you're Buck Menden. I'll take that mask off and soon find out.
Don't try it, Sheriff.
The Lone Ranger stood with his arms upraised as the sheriff, disregarding his warning, stepped in front of him.
I'll take the mask off like I said.
As the sheriff, holding a gun in one hand, reached toward the mask with the other, the Lone Ranger, in a lightning move, suddenly brought his clenched fist down hard on the sheriff's gun arm.
I said don't try it.
The sheriff's arm had dropped just before he pulled the trigger, so that the bullet went into the earth beside him. At the same time, the masked man drew one of his own guns and jabbed it against the lawman.
Drop your gun and freeze.
Reckon I have to.
The sheriff was between the Lone Ranger and the deputies, so that they couldn't use their guns against the masked man.
All right, Sheriff. Turn your back to me and stand there.
You won't get away with this.
Now I have a gun at your back. Tell your men to ride into the grove, but to drop their guns first.
No, by thunder.
We better, Sheriff. He might bug you.
Right.
Now ride back into the grove a short distance.
Get up.
If you're aiming to kill me, mister.
I don't intend to hurt you, Sheriff. All I want is a chance to explain.
Explain what?
Todd and I came here to hunt Menden, as I told you. We're not outlaws.
That's right.
That white stallion is my horse, Silver. The paints is Tonto.
Maybe you hear a masked man who ride white stallion and help the law. Maybe you hear Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger? Well, sure, I've heard about him, but Holy mackerel. Are you?
That's right.
Oh, wait. I heard the Lone Ranger uses real silver bullets. If you can show me...
Here, look this over.
Great day, it's silver, all right.
I don't like to be forced to hold this gun on you.
You don't have to, mister, not now. We'll hunt together for those gunslingers.
Good. Better call your men back now.
Hey, boys, come on back and pick up your guns. These hombres are friends.
I don't savvy this, Sheriff. First you...
I'm vouching for the masked man and Indian. They help the law.
Before we continue the search for Menden and his men, Todd and I have to find a boy who's riding with us. I'm afraid something's happened.
Look, Victor coming with empty saddle. Oh, Victor, oh there, oh.
Something must have happened to Dan. We'll backtrack on Victor's trail.
We'll go along with you, mister.
All right, let's go right now.
Easy, Scout, easy, fella.
Come on, Silver.
Come on, Scout.
On the riverbank, Dan Reed lay helpless, waiting and hoping that his horse Victor would go back to camp and bring the Lone Ranger and Tonto. Dan tried to loosen the cords that held him.
If I could get my hands loose. Cords are tied so tight. Use. That sun is strong. I'm liable to die of heat and thirst if I'm not. I gotta get some water. I'll try to drag myself near.
Dan inched his way along toward the lapping water along the riverbank, but with hands and feet tied, he found he couldn't quite make it.
I can't reach it. I'll just have to wait. Hope the outlaws don't come. See what's happened to me. If somebody doesn't find me soon. Someone is coming. I sure hope that's the Lone Ranger and Tonto. If it isn't, the outlaws are coming. They'll finish me this time for sure.
Dan lay waiting, the Lone Ranger and Tonto leading Victor, and followed by the sheriff and his men, soon arrived at the riverbank where the boy was helplessly tied hand and foot.
Easy, steady, big fellow. Victor. Dan, I'll cut these ropes, and you tell us what happened.
Golly, I'm sure glad you got here.
Dan, you soaking wet?
Tell us what happened, Dan.
Quickly and briefly, Dan told about meeting the crooks and of their attempt to get rid of him. He told of Victor's gallant rescue as the sheriff and his men listened in amazement and wonder. But the Lone Ranger's compressed lips and clenched hands conveyed to Tonto that the masked man was seething with anger.
Those dirty yellowback killers. When I get my hands on Buck Menden,
Speaking of Menden, we better get to that shack before it gets too dark and they decide to leave.
I'll show you the way, sir.
All right, Dan. Stay back out of gun range when we get there. Let's go get Menden.
At the hideout shack, Buck and the other three crooks were sitting at a table playing cards.
It sure was crazy the way that white horse broke loose and jumped off the bluff.
Sure was. Anything like
I wish I had that horse. Too bad he got away.
Yeah, wonder what happened to him. Oh, I reckon the horse ran to safety somewhere below here. But if you pinch the boy drowned...
Yeah, and good riddance.
I sort of keep thinking about it, Buck. Wish you hadn't made us do it.
Stop being an old woman, Wes. When I think someone's dangerous to me, I get rid of them, no matter who it is.
Reach! All of you!
Holy mackerel, a masked hombre. I'll fix him.
Hold it! This shack is surrounded. Men are at both windows with guns.
Hey, look, he's right.
You won't get me. Use your guns. We'll fight our way out.
And the other two crooks grabbed their guns, and for a few minutes, the shack resounded with gunfire. All three of the crooks were wounded as the Lone Ranger, Tonto, and the lawman sent bullets flying their way. Finally, the four crooks stood disarmed and nursing their wounds, while the sheriff's men covered them with their guns.
So by thunder, we got him. Two of my men got nicked, but not serious.
Me see hole in hat, Kimasabi.
Buck did that. He weren't wounded, I'd beat him to a pulp for what he did to Dan.
How did you know about the boy?
Fortunately, the boy is alive and safe. He had drowned,
The way that masked hombre's looking at you, Buck, it's good the law is here.
Sheriff, I can't trust myself in here with that dirty coyote Menden. Tonto and I'll go meet Dan and see you in town later.
Yeah, well, I know how you feel, mister. We'll get these gunslicks to jail, don't worry. And thanks for all your help.
That's all right, Sheriff. Let's go, Tonto. Adios, everybody.
Doggone, Sheriff, that masked hombre sure can fight. And he sure risks his neck to get these crooks. Hey, who is he, anyhow? You never did say.
He's an hombre Buck Menden should have heard about. Especially before he laid a hand on that boy. Yes, sir, that masked man is a fighter, all right. But he fights to keep the West clear of crooks. And to see that folks are treated right. You see, he's the Lone Ranger.
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created by George W. Trendle, produced by Trendle Campbell Enterprises, directed by Fred Flowerday, and edited by Fran Striker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beemer.
This has been a presentation of OTRWesterns.com, and we hope you enjoyed. Please take some time to like and rate this episode within your favorite podcast application. Follow us on Facebook by going to OTRWesterns.com/Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to OTRWesterns.com/YouTube. Become one of our ranch hands and unlock some exclusive content. We want to thank our most recent ranch hands, Steve and Ron W., who joined us recently. You too can join by going to OTRWesterns.com/donate. Send us an email, podcast@OTRWesterns.com, and you can call and leave us a voicemail, 707-986-8739. This episode is copyrighted under the attribution non-commercial share-alike copyright. For more information, go to OTRWesterns.com/copyright. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.